Marvel Cinematic Universe Fantastic Four. All right, so I'll say this first and foremost. Long time ago, being a few months, but considering how short a lot of people's times, attention spans are, it's a long time. So, yeah, a long months ago, Josh made 6 story outlines for Fantastic Four. I guess Saga would be a saga or like.
Yep.
Because I'm not sure if Saga's just
Saga.
4 or more.
Saga is. I mean, they call it the Star Wars saga, and it's 6 films.
True. So yeah, I made.
You're safe grammatically.
I made 6, and it ended with the Future Foundation. That was great. Anyways, my point being, in regards to Fantastic Four, I consider myself a big fan because I'm an engineering student. So I mean, I love the aspect of they're not really superheroes. They're just a family of scientists, engineers, explorers, doing sciencey stuff. And family stuff too. So I always like that aspect versus them just being, just another superhero team. But yeah, after Fantastic, I mean, it's gotten to the point now where if they make a sequel, God help them because they need God's help. But beyond that, it's like just I'm anticipating that post Phase 4 announcement. Oh yeah, Fantastic Four.
That'd be really cool.
Marvel's first family coming first after Infinity War. I
don't know, like, cause here's my issue is like I see a lot of people saying, I mean, and I don't want to blow Caboose up here, but I saw Caboose say somewhere is like, hey, they'd only use the villains. Well, no, I mean when you consider like Robert Downey Jr. is getting old, Chris Evans is going to be done once his contract is done. I mean, as big as the Marvel universe is getting. By the time they would get Fantastic Four in, yeah, it probably wouldn't be until like 2020, but I mean, that's as long as people are going to need to wash the horrible taste of Fantastic out of their mouth. So, I mean, I just think, the Fantastic Four, if they get the rights back, would be a huge part, especially in like the post-Thanos like era, you could say.
Yeah, they could definitely you tie that in too, because they could be like, well, after all this spacey shit just went down, exploring space and everything like that. I mean, they can. I mean, I'm sure they. I mean, obviously, Marvel Studios is a pretty good creative team already, so I'm pretty sure they'd be able to spin something out that makes sense and fits continuity, all that stuff in a positive way. But like a big thing for me also is unlike a lot of heroes, Fantastic Four is one of those heroes that's actually allowed to age to some degree. They don't have kids immediately. Obviously, like Reed Richards, Sue, they meet. They start dating, fall in love, get married, yada yada, and then they have kids and all that stuff. And they have 2 kids too. So I mean, it's one of those characters like that Marvel could legitimately do, and then just like kind of let them age on, like successfully too. Like they have kids and all that stuff, and Future Foundation eventually and all that stuff. And you could have like a 50-year-old Reed Richards easily, and like he'd just be a mentor figure. So I mean, like I said before, it's one of the cool things like about Fantastic Four is that they're not like just superheroes. They're actually, they're a family. They're scientists first, engineers first. So I mean, they would always put that ahead of super heroics, so to speak.
And they also have like the best villain in comics. So
I mean, yeah, Doom. Which I gotta say, all right, so definitely for Doom.
That one's for you, Oscar.
Tell me if you guys agree with me here. I don't think they shouldn't tie Doom into the origin story. Or if they do, they shouldn't give him powers. Because I was really hoping they would do something where it's like, and I hope MCU does something like this, but it's like the 4 of them get powers. Or like, all of them go on the trip, but the 4 of them but Doom get powers. Right. Doom with his big fat ego and superiority complex, like basically makes the armor and stuff to kind of give him like powers. But like basically be like, I don't need, your powers and everything like that. I'm Doom,
Yeah.
I'm superior as shit. I do what I want.
I mean, it was always
I make my own powers.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting because they've tried twice to tie him into like the origin, and it just seems odd that every single time they have him like bombarded by the radiation rays himself. I would just think it would be a little bit more interesting if Marvel went the different approach and they made it to where Doom is the one that causes everything to go wrong. A lot like basically he's the one that tampers with the quantum gate, a lot like the books, and he's the reason that that accident happens instead of just him being a part of the accident.
I feel like we did a prologue of sorts here. So, and I did my
You're welcome.
Anyways, yes. MCU Fantastic Four. So as you can see on the screen, you know, I mean, this isn't what I'm saying I would like them to look like. I thought it was a cool picture. But, I mean, I would totally be fine with these outfits. I mean, one thing for me, though, is just, like, and, like, I'm going to give it to all you guys in a second, but I just want to say, like, just quickly, like, what do we want to not see? Because from the previous movies, what I don't want to see is such heavy military, you know, interaction, influence on the team. I mean, okay, I understand you want to give them, like, a reason why maybe they're so well trained with their powers eventually, or maybe why, you know, I don't know, like, I just can't really think of a reason why the government has to be involved at all times. And then, you know, furthermore, I mean,
America.
Another thing I really don't want to see is just, like, I mean, I don't know how hard it is to say, but I don't want to see that isolation story again, because they've been repeating it and beating it on the head every single time. Like, example, first Fantastic Four, they're trying to do the isolation story. I mean, they kind of attempted it to do with all four of them, but it was much bigger with the Thing in the first one. Like, even, like, his girlfriend / fiance leaves him. I mean, like, that was harsh. I mean, like, don't judge a book by its cover, like, really. And then
I mean, the Thing is
Silver
the
Surfer
one that's
too.
supposed to have that story, though. Like, it makes sense for me to have, like, the Thing be, like, I'm lonely, because literally, like, everyone else still looks the same, and I am a giant, like, pile of rubble.
I did think they did that right, though. I mean, like, in the original Fantastic Four movie, I think they did play it out well. Like, when they were doing it. Even though, make him Yancey. Like, where's the Yancey Street, man? Give me my Yancey Street issue. Ben Grimm. I want my Yancey Street Ben Grimm. I want him going down the street, ex-gang member. Like, everyone always forgets that. He used to be in a gang.
I was going to say, I think that rumor about Jesse Eisenberg being, like, in a street gang was... I think that was from that same guy who wrote the fake script that I was talking about. But even Jesse Eisenberg has a better Ben Grimm backstory than Ben Grimm does. I mean, in Fantastic.
I mean, I don't mind the origin they gave him, but I was just kind of like, I want Yancey Street. I mean, call me old-fashioned, but I always thought that was something really cool about the character, because you wouldn't expect it.
Exactly, like 100%. That's the truth. That's the truth.
And then, for Sue Storm, I mean, just please, I know they want to write strong female characters, because if they don't, you know, SJWs will come out of the woodwork and eat you alive, kind of thing, and, you know, Zach will rant about that.
Consume your soul.
But,
yeah, and Zach will Facebook post about it.
I mean, the biggest thing is, like, just know what her profession is. Because the past few movies have been flip-flopping on exactly what her job is. I mean, she's, like, an assistant, then she's, like, a scientist, and then, like, for, like, the original films, like, they kind of flip-flop on what she's doing, and then...
I mean, in Fantastic, she had, like, 4 jobs. She was patterns recognition, and then she was designing the environmental suits, and then... She was, like... I mean, she did, like, 4 different things in that fucking movie.
She was a busy woman, I guess.
I mean, the
economy's rough. You got to hold down multiple jobs.
I mean, yeah, if it's one of those cases where she's just so smart that she's holding down, like, she's doing multiple things, I mean, that's one thing. But at least, you know, give us some idea of that. Don't just, like, say she does this, and then magically she's doing something else. That makes no sense. I mean, CJ, you said it perfectly one time. I wouldn't want a pattern recognition person making my environmental suit.
Exactly. I mean, Josh, but you got it. You're being too hard on Sue. She's a strong, independent, invisible woman. All right, I mean, she can do whatever she wants.
I mean, I just want them to know what she's doing. I really I just want them to know what she's doing. If she's gonna be a biologist, make her a biologist. If she's gonna be a pattern recognitionist person, make her that. If she's gonna be, like, you know, like assistant or something to Doom or whatever she was in the beginning of the first movie, make her that. Just stick with something, please. Just stick with something. And then for Johnny, I mean,
do something.
I think they've been pretty good with Johnny, honestly, for the past movies, like personality, backstory kind of thing. I think they're good.
Right.
It would have been cool to see more of him, though. Like, you know, I know Fantastic cut a lot of scenes out, but I was really, like, I felt like that scene of him working on the car that was in, like, all the trailers and stuff. I felt like there was something, like, important in that scene that we missed.
Yep.
Like, just for Johnny and everything. But
So it's like what Josh said. Like, let's open it up to like everyone. Like,
all
what
you
do
guys go.
not
I'm
wanna
muting
see?
myself.
What do you not want to see?
I guess first and foremost, I kind of want, I don't want to see the whole. Okay, so the whole thing with like Reed and Sue's romance, it's just at this point in time, I would really prefer it if maybe we have a few movies build it, not just shove it all into one film, because I mean the original ones did that and it felt weird, and I think I attribute that more to Jessica Alba's just a bad actress, and number two,
Yes.
freaking Fan Four Stick, which I guess is what we're calling it, Fan Four Stick. Like Reed and Kate Mara have no sort of chemistry whatsoever, and I don't even think they even really get together. I think they have one scene where they're talking and she's like, oh, I mean, you know, you're throwing me for a loop or whatever, and that's it. Like, that was it. And I'm like, I guess they're together.
Can I just say real quick, like, there are a lot of people, like, the common thing with movies nowadays is to say, oh, better love story than Twilight. Twilight was a better love story than Fan Four Stick. Like, let's I'm not even kidding. There was zero chemistry between Reed and Sue.
Yeah.
I mean, when you talk about them having one moment, they had one conversation that wasn't completely awkward, I guess, so that means things are getting pretty serious. But I just, oh my God, that was the biggest issue with the movie to me, is like Kate Mara was written like people give Henry Cavill a hard time for his acting in Man of Steel and the writing for him in Man of Steel. I mean, shit, Henry Cavill should thank his lucky stars that he did not get Kinberg to write Superman. Like, that was holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it was.
All right, I'm end rant.
No, I mean, yeah, it's very awkward. I would really want a sort of relationship between those two built up a little bit more. I don't want it to just all be kind of shoved in one movie just because we expect it to be. And kind of what we said earlier, I don't want Doom like in the first movie. Like I said before that it would be cool if like he causes the accident, but even then I would prefer it if he's just not in the first movie at all. Like if he's just like in the beginning he's like a friend of them and they're like, oh, he's going away, he had a little accident, he's going back to Latveria, and then he's gone, and then I'm like, great, so we can like get someone like Mole Man or Annihilus or something.
I mean, and I completely agree with that as well. Like, I can't remember if it was me and Josh that were having this conversation after the movie, but I mean, the one thing that the original Trank concept had going for it is, I mean, he wasn't like exactly right, because at least he did have like a villain, but I mean, it's like, why does the first Fantastic Four movie really need a villain? Because like the powers can be the villain. Why don't you just give them, like, the powers are the villain? Like, you've had this accident, you need to recover. You're learning how to use these powers for good, I guess you could say. You know, just do that. Like Victor, I want Victor in the first movie. I don't want Doom, like you said. So I think that seems to be a consensus among us. But I know other people have opinions, so I'm going to shut up.
I mean, that's what I was going to say about the villain thing. I wasn't really sure as to whether you should put like a major like villain at the front of the film in a Fantastic Four film. I think the first film, it should really be setting up the Four themselves as the famous family, which seems like is a major part of it, and as scientists themselves. I think that's like the major part they've forgotten in every film so far. It just hasn't worked. They've just kind of thrown a villain in and thought, that's what superhero movies need. They need a bad guy that these people can defeat, and that makes them the good guys.
Yeah, that's how we know they're the ones fighting the bad guy.
They should do it kind of like X-Men First Class did, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
In that way.
X-Men First Class that's why X-Men First Class is still my favorite. Like, it's my favorite comic book movie of all time.
Because by how they used
all the notes.
By how they used Shaw, I mean, it developed Magneto's character and Professor X's character. You know, like just that character, like how they were interacting and how, you know, he was the antagonist to them. I mean, I just thought it was a really good job. I mean, because if you read the comics, Victor and Reed aren't always enemies, and they actually have like a mutual respect for each other in a way too. Although something happens, so you know, I mean, it shouldn't be one of those things like where it's just like, oh, point blank they hate each other. Just like, you know, Sue Storm, that was a good point made. Point blank, they shouldn't just be like I love you.
Point blank, we fucking. I mean, exactly. They're rivals in most things. I mean, they're rivals in science, and I mean, it's corny and passe, but there is a love triangle because they're kind of rivals in terms of like who gets like. It's gonna sound like super bad, but it's like who gets to be with Sue. I mean, Sue can make her own fucking decisions, but like I said, strong, independent, invisible woman. But you know,
I mean, Doom has it right now during Secret Wars. So I mean,
yeah, I know Doom.
Hey.
He has his
Doom's
children
also God,
too.
So. Did anyone have anything else that they really did not want to be in like an MCU Fantastic Four movie?
Yes, I don't want Cloud Galactus. All right, hold on. Let me say this though. I was in a very
Nobody wants Cloud Galactus.
I was in a very interesting conversation, and supposedly the reason they did that was originally they were going to do like the humanoid Galactus, but then they were like, Galactus is like a force of nature, and they were trying to like embody that aspect of him, like he's a force of nature you can't be reasoned with kind of thing, even though he has been reasoned with before. But putting that aside, they were trying to get the whole thing across that he's a force of nature, so that's why they did that. So I mean, from that perspective, I was like, okay, I understand what they were doing there, okay, but you should have done it better. There's no excuse for how shitty it was done. I mean, so I mean, at least I can see what they were going for. I mean, at least there was something behind it. So I just want to get that across because I thought it was really interesting. The discussion I was having with this person. Sure. They seemed to know a lot about this movie. I mean, I was like, were you working on it or something? But I mean, they knew like a lot of behind the scenes kind of stuff that most people don't think about. Anyways, yeah, I don't want Cloud Galactus at this point. Just give us the more humanoid kind of Galactus, I'd say. I mean, it'd be cool if they actually play it out where like he looks differently to different civilizations. I always thought that was a cool thing. Like they don't always bring it back up, but I remember there was that one comic where they showed different like interpretations of Galactus depending on the civilization you're in. Because like he's so powerful. It's kind of like certain religions where they're like, oh yeah, God takes on many forms, like whatever you want, basically, to him to look like, whatever you're most comfortable with, so like that. So I mean, I always liked that kind of thing behind Galactus because it'd be really cool. Like if like one person looks at him, he looks like the Galactus we know. Another person looks at him, he looks like a big poopy face. I mean.
Those stink lines come.
Or he looks like a massive, like just like a massive dog, like about to eat like you. You're like, his dog treat.
Yeah, you could even make it. And I know this wouldn't be it, but it's almost like for each civilization, kind of like what you're saying. There's like a different interpretation of him. Like if they ever put him in the Marvel universe, what's the dog that's supposed to like? Isn't there like a dog that's supposed to eat the world or something in Norse mythology? It's like Fenrir or something. Yeah,
Fenrir the wolf.
Yeah, definitely you could make it to like Fenrir will then eat the world, and it turns out like that's just their interpretation of what Galactus is.
So you're telling me Loki was getting freaky in another universe? Like when Loki went through that wormhole at the end of Thor, he basically went to Fantastic universe, got super freaky with something, made a giant wolf that eats planets, and then went back. That's why he's so different now. He's like, I've seen shit. I've done shit. I've literally done shit and made a wolf.
Yeah, I had no idea. I had no idea he birthed the wolf. I don't know that much about Norse mythology.
Loki really gets around.
So, can we just say, like, I'm just surprised by Loki's, like, genes here. I mean, dude only has one humanoid child. Like, can we get Murray on this show? Like, Murray, do some paternity testing here.
Just
Loki,
Galactus,
you are not the father. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
That's a Marvel shit right there.
So I guess the next question I'm gonna predict is like, what do we want in an MCU Fantastic Four movie after what we don't want, or am I just wrong?
I was gonna say what villains you want to see for like a trilogy.
What villains do we want to see for
like,
a trilogy?
For me, I would want to see. I would love to see if they know they're gonna end on a trilogy, and I mean if they want to redo. I mean, to what Days of Future Past was for X-Men, King of the Conqueror could be easily for Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Because of all the time mambo jambo crap. But I mean, so I wouldn't rule Kang out of there. It's just one of those things where it's like, how would you do him? And when would you do him? Because I mean, that's a very, I mean, that concept is really interesting, but at the same time, it's like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, once you've fought on a time traveler, I mean, the kind of technology, the kind of, you know, brilliance that have to fight, you know, that would probably that would be like, after that, no one would really stand a chance because, you know, time travel. But so I would definitely love to see Kang maybe for like a fourth, like a finale movie kind of thing that they can use to properly like reboot in the same way Days of Future Past was used to kind of reboot.
Yeah.
I always thought that was really smart of them. But yeah, I'd love to see, you know, Galactus and the Heralds of Galactus done right. You know, not just Silver Surfer. You know, like other ones too. I always thought it'd be really cool if they built towards Galactus using the Skrulls, because I believe there was a story, or at least I wrote this story too, but Galactus ate the Skrulls' original homeworld, and they worship Galactus kind of as like a deity of sorts. And I always thought that would be really cool, like, you know, Fantastic Four, explorers, scientists, all that stuff, discover, you know, a civilization. I mean, like Secret Invasion. You could easily do Secret Invasion, and they could be like, we're here because our planet was destroyed by like the Devourer, the Great Devourer. And then from there, you could easily build towards Galactus. So I always thought that was really cool. I thought those could fit together well. So definitely, you know, Skrulls I'd love to see, especially in a Secret Invasion kind of thing. That's really cool. And then that can kind of be like their Hydra. You're like, oh, that person was a Skrull the whole time. But yeah, so definitely Skrulls, Heralds of Galactus / Galactus I'd like to see. Doom I'd like to see, but not in the kind of vein he's always been in. I mean, in the same way Magneto has been for the X-Men films, I definitely think Doctor Doom could be in the same kind of, you know, way.
Yeah.
So shout out to Fox for X-Men, because they've done a good job with X-Men, minus, you know, Origins obviously, and
and the third one. So
yeah, and then the last, you know, villain I'd like to see, I guess you could say, for villains. It's a hard one for me to really nail down, but it's not Mole Man, it's Namor. Because
that's an interesting,
even though I've heard
sure.
the rights are kind of for Namor, I think Fox is, you know, I feel like Fox could use him in a movie easier than probably Marvel could right now. And I feel like it'd be another thing where it's like, you can really hammer on the whole their explorers kind of thing, you know, exploring the deeps of the ocean. Like, get James Cameron to direct or something. But I mean, it'd be really cool to, I think, see Namor finally on the big screen. And then you can see, you know, Namor basically being like a super alpha, you know, right on Sue in front of Reed. Basically being a massive victory.
Sup, babe?
Like, Namor's that swimmer. Dog. Namor's that dog that'll take, like, another dog's stuffed animal and just start humping it, even if the stuffed animal doesn't want it. Like, that's the type of dog, that's the type of person
maintaining
Namor
eye
is.
Contact.
Yeah, while maintaining eye contact.
Eye contact.
Yeah.
He's like, what is possession?
Exactly. I'm the king. What are you talking about?
That's pretty much Namor. He's like, have you ever felt guilt like this? He's like,
no.
she's like, oh, as an Atlantean, do you have flippers? He's like, well, I have a big flipper in my pants.
Oh. What am I?
I'll turn it over to you guys now. I'll be myself again before I say more jokes.
I mean, it's kind of like I said, like if we're doing like a trilogy, I don't want really a villain in the first one. It's like powers, and then maybe it's like, oh, the government, you know, our hipster shit. But no, so it's like nobody in the first one, and then maybe for the second one we do like Doom, but do Doom right, where it's more like, you know, he's trying to do something, And maybe that just leads into Galactus for a third movie. Because, like, Kang, like you said, he's, like, fourth movie material if you can even touch him. Because he'd be hard to put in a movie as it is. So, I'm done. That's it. Somebody else talk.
I mean, if we're assuming it's going to be a trilogy, I mean, I would go the route of, like, not having a major villain in the first one. But I think for me personally, I would do Mole Man in the first one. And I think... I don't really like the Ultimate comics, but the Ultimate ones had this nice idea with Mole Man, where it's basically he had a relationship with these Fantastic Four, and it was basically that, like, I mean, you guys are special. I'd very much like to take you under my wing. And they're like, no, and so he builds a. I just want the idea that, like, when we're different, we like create a new world for ourselves, and we like look inside of ourselves and create like this new kind of persona for us. Like he goes down, he's accepted by all the mole people, and he creates more moloids, and he comes back to kind of force acceptance on everybody else. So I would use Mole Man for the first one, and so I'm trying to remember a lot of the early comics. Did they go to the? It was cosmic radiation, right? It wasn't like the negative zone.
Yeah, the OG ones were cosmic radiation, which I want to say. First and foremost, there's no such thing as cosmic radiation. It's just radiation. There's nothing special about it if it's in space. It's just radiation, guys. It's space.
Like if you could if cosmic radiation could give you powers, like you could go stand in Chernobyl and get powers. But you know.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say like literally just the UV sun rays that gives you a tan / maybe skin cancer if you have too much of it. That's cosmic rays, guys.
Yeah, but like, okay, so I think, because I thought the Ultimate one, like, it was the negative zone that gave them their power. So if they do go that route, definitely, like, he's probably my favorite Fantastic Four villain. I really want to see Annihilus in a movie. Like, I would love the idea that, like, they go into that negative zone. When they got their powers, they kind of awaken him, and that's the one that kind of comes and...
That's cool.
Because the way you guys are saying it, like, you would put Galactus as, like, the Fantastic Four, like, villain for like the third one. I would say make Annihilus like the villain for like the finale of the Fantastic Four, and Galactus is like the villain for all of the MCU universe. Like,
I mean, I can
make
see that
him
too.
like make him for like the big event movie, and Annihilus is like the big bad for the Fantastic Four trilogy, because literally it would be the villain where like the guy who comes from the place where it all started.
That's true. I mean, I always like the idea of having like, I mean, if I were to redo Fantastic Four right now, and I think this might have been in the script, I would definitely do like their origins is, you know, I do the space route again, that they're explorers, and they're sent out by like NASA or something. Oh, I dropped my phone, shit. They're sent out by like NASA or something to like look into this like, you know, energy burst. And that energy burst is literally just like a destroyed planet that Galactus like just destroyed, like just freshly destroyed, you know, fresh out of the oven destroyed.
Right.
But because of that, there's some residual energy from Galactus, which is like power cosmic energy, and that exposure to the power cosmic gives them their powers. I mean, I always thought that was really cool, because then you could tie into like, why do they actually have powers? Like, you don't need a scientific reason. Power cosmic, that's all you need. Because then when the heralds are introduced, you can be like, how'd you get your powers? Power cosmic, dude. And they can all make a Facebook group called Power Cosmic Club, and you know, go clubbing.
Wow.
Get tacos.
Power Cosmic Club.
Yeah, I think for the first film I'd just go, you've got no villains and it's just them sorting out the powers. Then for a second film, you know, they're now famous, everybody knows about them and stuff, and then I'd go with the Frightful Four as being the villains for the second film. So you kind of facing them off against, you know, instead of just one person, 4 people they've now got, they understand the powers and stuff, so you're not having to, we need to work as a team. It gets done, and it's nice and easy. But all of this is happening while Doctor Doom is going and taking over Latveria, and then third film is them going to try and sneak into Latveria and find out what's going on, and having Doctor Doom as the main villain. I say villain, but not really. And you can have them going to Latveria, and you can see how good Latveria is from there.
You know, be like the biggest thing ever though, I mean, all right. So I'm just gonna say this now. If they were to do it, this would blow anything any other studio or movie company ever did out of the water. But let's say Fox decides to bow down to Marvel, right? It's like, okay, we'll give you the rights back, but we just want to make could we just make like one more movie or something like that? Or Marvel's like, you can make one more movie before we fully get the rights back. And that movie, all right, connects with all the Marvel movies, and it's literally the Incursions.
That'd be cool. Ooh. I'd be so down for that.
But
like, the issue for me is like that's the movie I want to see. Like that's the movie that I want to see. However, my big issue is like there's no way that happens like anytime soon. Like,
I know.
We're talking
that's
5 years down
That's
the road.
a sad part. But I mean, like that's the only way you can get your Wolverine versus Hulk, your like X-Men versus Avengers. I mean, that'd basically be your X-Men versus Avengers movie because during the Incursions they try fighting each other to stay alive. Then like you'd have Doom just be like, "Nyam nyam 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 nyam, we're boom my law, nyam 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 nyam," and what'd be really funny actually is like, all right, Fantastic Four comes in the MCU and they're like, literally like they do like, I mean they can start off with like an interview, in the Fantastic Four. They're like, so why after all these years are you deciding to come out public now? And they could be like, simple. I'm Reed Richards. I give no fucks. Because I mean, or they can actually finally play off that thing where it's like it's always rumored this and no one ever says it. Like Reed has all these patents, right, which he gets money off of. But there's always been a big like conspiracy amongst comic book readers that the reason why the Fantastic Four is really so wealthy is that all these top companies are paying millions of dollars to Reed Richards, like mega millions, for him not to publicly reveal his inventions because it would put all of them out of business.
That'd be hilarious.
So I mean, I think that'd be funny if they did that. Where like, he was like, "Well,
but that would be
coming out publicly, because Google stopped paying."
I could see Marvel do that. Like I could see Marvel go that route. That would be really funny.
I mean. He's like, you think you never paid me, but what do you think Stan was doing? Where do you think your college fund went?
Or it's just like, no, you ask, it's like, you think you never, it's like, I could see Tony totally doing that. I never paid you a dime. I don't know what you're talking about. And he just goes, ask Pepper.
Yeah. Pepper's like, he's like, Pepper, did you pay Reed Richards? She's like, I don't know what you mean, Tony. The Iron Man armor is totally your invention. It's all your intellectual property, blah, 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 blah. Or no, the funniest moment would be like the scene from comics when Reed's arguing with Hank Pym. And Hank Pym's like, I should be there. The Pym particles were my invention, like my discovery, all that stuff. And Reed's like, all right, we all know you discovered the Pym particles. But at the same time, we all know I know the most about the Pym particles.
Yep.
That was always funny to me, like, it was they have the I don't know if you guys know this, the people watching this or listening to this still, but Reed Richards and Hank Pym have the greatest of arguments because it's basically like
they do
the
they
biggest
really
of dick measuring contests, and like Reed always takes the low blows and he's like, yeah, I know more about Pym particles than you. Let's be honest.
A pissing contest of science.
Same thing with Parker particles. When they did the whole thing with Peter Parker discovering new particles and the whole alpha thing, which shall never be spoken of past this minute, but yeah. So when they did that, I love it. Reed was like, Peter, I discovered these like a long time ago. I just didn't think it was worth it.
I just didn't think it was worth it.
I mean, I love how just Reed's
Spider-Man's just like, aw.
Reed's that guy who's he's just so smart. It's like. It's a little OP, like his smartness is his OP factor. Like you'll be like the first person ever. Like, this would be years ago. First person ever be like, "Oh, I invented wheel." Oh. That's my caveman voice. And then like caveman Reed Richards would come around and be like, "Oh, I invented that like a week ago."
He's like, I was just waiting for the vulcanized rubber. Improving on your design.
He was like, I'm just waiting for this eruption to happen, man. I really need that molten rock. That's like that fine point.
Yeah.
Or for anyone that knows anything about naval studies and naval navigation, it's like the timekeepers they used to use back in the day, like the H3, H4s, even though the H4s were never really tested, which is a long story. Anyways, But it's like, oh, they make the first H1, which is a pretty revolutionary thing. Reed Richards comes out of nowhere, just like, he's like, yo, so I know you're trying to find this longitude shit, but yeah, I'm trying to document time zones.
Yeah. Oh, but like, okay, so I guess because we're running a little long here. I mean, Josh, I don't know what other questions you have, but I mean, the question I would ask you guys is, like, who would you want to play like the Fantastic Four? Like, who would be your fantastic cast?
Alice Eve for Sue Storm. That's it. I'm done.
I mean, you got that after a conversation from me, so I've got to read Richards.
No, I didn't. I got that after her interview with Conan, where it was like everybody but her was staring at her.
I know, exactly. Oh my god, so fun. But okay, so like,
she has enough stress.
I guess we're gonna turn it over to you guys. Like, who would you guys cast as the V4? Would you want to go back to like the younger route, or like
I don't know. I'd say 30-year-old like Reed Richards is a good point for Reed Richards. I'm just trying to think of like good actors at that age, real good.
I mean, my thing is, like, I've always said, like, my Fantastic Four is, I can't even remember who I had for Ben Grimm. It's been so long since I came up with this, but I think I had a little bit of an older cast. I had Andrew Lincoln as Reed Richards, representing, just another British actor playing an American superhero. So Andrew Lincoln as Reed Richards, and then Alice Eve as Sue Storm has always been my pick because she is very good looking, and she is a great actress.
But is Andrew Lincoln worth it, well. CJ? I mean, I could play Reed Richards.
Yes.
I think I'm worth Alice Eve.
You're right. But no, and then Sam Claflin or even like after seeing Fantastic, I wouldn't mind if Michael B. Jordan was Johnny at all. Like he played it pretty well.
He just stays on just because.
But if we're going like the more traditional Fantastic route, then maybe like Sam Claflin. And for the Thing, it's really tough because you need someone that's like tough and looks street smart. So I really didn't have anyone in mind to play the Thing.
I thought Michael Chiklis was an amazing Thing. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, he was real good.
Could we have Michael B. Jordan for the Thing?
Bring back the Chiklis.
So we'll have Chiklis, Michael B. Jordan. So far we're just merging the two.
That's the whole incursions thing.
Chiklis was like he was a big Thing fan anyways.
Yeah. Like, I didn't even mind, like, the suit they put him in. I thought that was really good for the time. Like, I just thought that was...
Yeah.
It was like all practical effects too, so I was pretty impressed.
I think the thing needs to be full CG nowadays, especially now that we have the technology, because anything else is just going to kind of look, a little bit goofy in my opinion. But
yeah,
I think. But I'm interrupting. Go back. What you saying?
Yeah.
I could see that. Oh my god.
That is a good one.
So Josh, was there anything else you wanted to hit in this one, or
besides Sue Storm, Alice Eve? No, I think I'm good.
There you go. Oh, you wanted to hit that too. I see your play on words, Joshua.
Thank you. I'm a poet. Let's see. My last thing probably is, let's be honest. Do you guys want Fantastic Four in the MCU? Because as much as I'd want to see them, obviously, just like everybody wants to see every Marvel character in the MCU at this point, I think Marvel's at that state now where they don't have to have them right now. I mean, I think they're comfortable where they're at. I think they've worked with what they got and they're confident, and they have a good thing going. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think they need Fantastic Four. Just like I don't think they need X-Men. You guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's very much so they don't need Fantastic Four, obviously. They have a whole pantheon of other Marvel characters, but I think more than X-Men could ever do, Fantastic Four can only just enrich the Marvel universe with even more just mythology and lore and everything. Like, with Fantastic Four, you introduce even more multiple dimensions, even more space characters. Like, Fantastic Four, I think, more than any other property, can only further the Marvel Cinematic Universe more than X-Men ever could.
That's a great point. I think honestly, it's kind of like what you're saying, Josh. it would be like a luxury pickup. Like they don't really need it, no, but it would be like nice to have, I guess. It's like you don't really need like the BMW, but you know, it's nice to have if you can afford it. But like the no, unfortunately. But it's like it'd definitely be like a luxury buy. But I what Luke said kind of hit the nail on the head. Like Fantastic Four would be, if they had an option, I'd like to think they'd choose the Fantastic Four over the X-Men every single time.
I mean, I would not make him a first-round pick in the draft. They'd be like a free agent pickup.
But like, no. I mean, I want the Fantastic Four in the MCU for the Fantastic Four's sake.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Fox is ever going to get it right.
I want Sentry, but we're probably not getting that anytime soon.
Yeah. That's kind of like what a lot of people are saying, and I mean, I kind of agree too. Because Doctor Doom is very much a Marvel villain. He's not just Fantastic Four anymore, and it's like, if you get any villain for an Avengers movie after Thanos, you're gonna want Doctor Doom for an Avengers movie.
Yeah, like I don't think I'd want the Fantastic Four. Definitely not yet. I think I'd want them maybe Phase 4, Phase 5 time. I don't want them pushing, like Spider-Man did. I don't want them pushing other like films back. I just think it's not worth it.
I agree. Yeah.
Like I was even annoyed about Spider-Man pushing like other films back. I think they pushed Black Panther, didn't it, and Inhumans. Wait.
Yeah, that
Black Panther, Inhumans, and Captain Marvel.
Yeah, which I just I think it's like a really like bad move. I didn't like that. Well, it's not a bad move money-wise for them, but I'd have preferred if they just put Spider-Man in the Avengers films, then waited till after. Oh.
Yeah.
Just do that with the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
I don't want them just like slapped in. Bring them in after.
Yeah. I would prefer just a Spider-Man Netflix show, honestly.
Yeah. Especially
because I mean, I've said it before. He's an episodic character. He's not like a big like Fantastic Four, Superman, those kinds of characters that fight these larger than life universe-ending threat kind of things. They're like definitely like movie kind of characters because that shit doesn't happen every day. But I mean, characters like Spider-Man, where it's like a big part of them is the everyday hero aspect. I mean, that works better on TV series, as we saw with, like Daredevil and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, definitely, I'm surprised we haven't mentioned the Watcher. Give me Stanley Watcher. I want
Stanley Watcher.
I'm
surprised we haven't. As you say, I'm surprised we haven't mentioned Psycho Man. We can be surprised we haven't mentioned a lot of characters, but I mean,
like Impossible Man.
Impossible
really
Man,
Mr.
yes.
Trying to pronounce his name was horrible.
Impossible Man needs to be in a movie. This needs to happen. I don't even care about Doom anymore. I want Impossible Man.
Or Molecule Man. I think Fox actually legitimately owns the rights to Molecule Man.
Isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Molecule Man would be great.
I mean, at least what they've recently done. I mean, alright, I'll be honest. Molecule Man is one of those characters that has been kind of flimsy over time because they always change what they want to do with them. But usually they just kind of go like, yeah, he's so powerful, he's crazy. There we go.
But hasn't he tried?
Even though he's like beyond their level, so I mean, like, how?
Yeah.
Like, can you even like? Can you?
But he's tried to reform though, like, hasn't he? So like that could be a good point to put in, like have him reforming the film instead of them actually just beating him, I suppose.
Like, I mean, like, they're trying to beat him, and he's just like, you know what, I'm good. Thanks, guys.
You could even make it he's already reformed, and they're still beating him up.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying, but,
He just sees, like, like a flower, it's spring, and he just sees a flower, and a tear comes to his eye, and he's like, I am reformed.
I am a changed man. I am the captain now. I mean, that's something, actually, speaking of things Namor would do, he'd be the type of guy that goes on your boat, looks you straight in the eyes. He's like, I'm the captain now.
Look at me.
I'm the captain.
That sounds like most British parties.
So, like, the fusion of Bill Clinton and Tyrone. If anyone knows what
Michael
Tyrone
Phelps
is, Tyrone's like a Vine star.
Long dick style.
Yeah, he's like, my name's Tyrone, and I'm trying to fuck somebody's wife.
Fuck somebody's wife.
I'm trying to fuck somebody's wife. Oh
it's
God.
like, no, I mean, he's part Bill Clinton, part Tyrone, and part Michael Phelps. I mean, he's the perfect being.
The perfect being, yes.
And he has wings on his feet. Can you even? Oh my God, Kanye West is Namor, practically.
Pretty
I mean, no,
much.
Dr.
I'm gonna let you
Doom's
finish.
No, Dr. Doom's like Kanye West. The personality
Dr. Doom is
there.
Kanye West.
Kanye West is gonna...
Except Dr. Doom actually deserves the ego.
Yeah, we
Like,
cast
that's-
celebrities as that'd be a fun segment in the next Marvel. I mean, like just like a whole separate video just to make for fun. He's like,
Oh my god.
casting
No.
celebrities. As,
Yes.
is that going to be your next top 5, CJ?
That's
Top
yes,
five,
but I mean here
celebrities
we
that
go.
are
Like no, can you just see like Kanye West as Doctor Doom in like a movie adaptation of Secret Wars? I am a god.
Hold up, let me finish.
Jesus.
I hope people
Dr.
stay to
Doom
the end of
Jesus.
this because this got much better at the end. Once
I
we
just
tried
like,
to-
I just
still
like the
listening.
idea of
Everyone
explaining.
maybe.
I like the idea of explaining the fish sticks joke to Kanye West, Doctor Doom, in Secret Wars.
He's like, so Namor? Namor, you a gay fish? Alright, comment.
Oh,
if you're
that'd
still
be
listening
great.
to this, by the way, comment below with which celebrity you think personality-wise would fit like a Fantastic Four character. So yeah, definitely Dr. Doom's Kanye. I can't believe it took us this long to figure this
Can
out.
we?
Wow. I
Sue
feel like-
Storm is Kim Kardashian, right?
Oh.
But she's not short, fat, and a hobbit. So I mean,
What is Chris Humphries gonna be Reed Richards? Like shit.
Alright, no. Alright, so Alice Eve is Sue Storm. Ooh. Ooh.
Nah, man, that's Chloe.
Oscar. I don't think my heart can take any more of this. Dang.
Caitlin
Oscar
or
was
Bruce
savage, though.
as Mr. Fantastic. Transforms in and out of being a woman.
Wow.
Oh god.
Wow. This is
We're
going
all going to
places.
hell.
This is going places.
This is going straight down to Mephisto.
Mephisto's just like, yeah, no, CJ is secretly Mephisto, just massaging his cheeks like, yes, give me your negative comments.
No,
Yes.
David Bowie as
Negative
Mephisto.
comments.
Let's have David Bowie's Mephisto.
David Bowie.
I would actually fucking love
Like,
that.
I just thought of like Mad Hair and I was like, David Bowie. Yeah,
Who's the guy who's the devil in the Ghost Rider movie? Just bring him back. His little cartoon shadow on the side.
there we go.
No, Donald Trump
No.
would be Mephisto. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is the Doctor Doom understudy. Like he's prepared to take it from Kanye.
Stop immigrating into hell. Just drop it.
Oh my god.
All right, I
Man.
think we should just end it before we like get the internet more
Yeah.
out of this.
We're at
Kevin
our
Feige
peak.
is God.
Hybrid network hashtag break the internet.
Yes. Can we Photoshop Josh's face onto Kim Kardashian for that? Like,
Wait,
somebody get on that shit.
what happened? Where did this joke come from?
If I've ever heard like an evil
Oh my
cackle,
God.
Christ.
I mean, CJ, do you want to edit this, CJ, so you can do that?
No, I'm good. I'm not doing it. You can throw that in. All
I mean,
right,
granted,
this
at this
is
point, I
over.
might just
I'm
give up on
done.
editing and just be like, you know what? They can just look at one image. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the hell out of that image.
Oh my god, I'm crying. I'm crying so bad.
Oh man.
Damn, that's some good shit.
End it before I die.
I gotta slap y'all with my dende.